Welcome to the Infernal Brotherhood of the Scruffy Looking Nerf Herders. This is a live streaming Star Wars YouTube vidcast. Fucking it's too early, apparently. Made by Star Wars fans for Star Wars fans. And today we're continuing our episode review of Man with Chapter 10, The Past.
Passenger. I love me this episode. This was
Fuck yes.
awesome. And what I heard online, just like initial impressions, initial thoughts, people were complaining that it was just a filler. And I was like,
Dude, that
what?
seems to be every fucking episode this season. Everybody's bitching about something.
Yeah.
And it's like, you are all wrong. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but fuck you. This is why Star Wars fans are awful.
Yeah.
Because nobody can
worst.
just be like happy that something great exists.
Yeah. Well, and again, you'd mentioned it. Everyone's entitled to their wrong opinions.
Yeah.
But they are wrong.
Very fucking wrong.
Yeah, what were your initial thoughts about this episode?
This is what we've been waiting for since the fucking Clone Wars. Like when we started getting to see, Mandalorians, like more Mandalorians. It's like, fuck, all right, when are we going to get some live action shit?
Mm-hmm.
And this did not disappoint. Like from the reveal of Bo-Katan, it's just like, oh my God. Like, what's going to happen. Everybody knew every single character that was going to be in this show.
Well, hold on. Bo-Katan is episode 11.
Oh, wait, yep. Just kidding. We're talking about The Passenger. Holy shit. I just finished watching that one again. The Passenger, holy shit. This one was great. It was the horror film we've been waiting for in Star Wars. Like, this was so reminiscent of Alien that it's just like, I know what's going to happen, and I don't care. I can't wait for it to happen.
Okay, we'll get into that in a second.
Yeah.
I loved this, not just for that aspect of it, which I thought was just amazing, but we'll get into it. Okay, so this is written by Jon Favreau, this episode. It was directed by Peyton Reed. You know him from Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp and some other stuff that he's done, apparently, but that's all I know him from. It was released on November 6, 2020, and what we're going to be talking about are these knobby white spiders. Well, they were ultimately designed by Ralph McQuarrie to appear in Dagobah from The Empire Strikes Back in 1980, and this species was called the Krykna, which is pretty awesome. Another note about this episode was that Phil Szozak, creative art manager at Lucasfilm, compared the child eating the frog lady's eggs to eating chicken eggs. And quote, "But obviously chickens aren't sentient beings, and the child eating the eggs is intentionally disturbing for comedic effect." So there were people like up in arms.
Yeah. So many people threw a fit. And I don't get it. Like, unless you're vegan, like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And really, then even if you are, this is all made up.
Yeah.
Like, it's not real. None of it's real. Fucking idiots. Fucking
it was
just like what you're saying. Like, people just have to be up in arms about something. And it just goes to show how stupid fan bases can be at times.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. All right, well, let's get through this, discuss this episode. Do you want to start us off?
Yeah, so starts off, let's see, where are we going? Looking at the show notes. I watched it last night, so of course my brain is already gone. So Din and the child are returning to Mos Eisley because they're trying to find a way to get him where he's supposed to go. And they got ambushed by some raiders, which was pretty fucking fun. Which is a great tie-in to the what was it? The Force Awakens. Like, we see the little weird dude. I forget what his name is.
Yeah, is that supposed to be the same guy, or is that
it is the same guy. I looked it up. It is the same guy.
So he's the one that was like riding that almost looking like dewback creature.
Yeah. Yeah, so spoiler, he doesn't die when he falls from fucking the atmosphere after taking the Mandalorian's backpack.
Dude can take a fall, man.
Fuck yeah, he can. And he lives for a very, very long time.
That's crazy. Like another 30 years or another 15 years. That's crazy. That's cool. I didn't know that. All right.
Yeah, but so wacky antics ensue. They're trying to rob him. He fucking owns all of them and manages to walk back to Mos Eisley to
which is insane.
Yeah.
He just has
and then he gets back to Pele's hangar. Right, that's her name. So that's oh wait, it's not the hangar. ends up going to the cantina
Yeah.
where he runs into her, and he ends up getting into a hand of Sabak
Ends up
randomly.
backing Dr. Mandible.
Yeah.
Of all the great names, Dr. Mandible.
Yeah, that was so stupid,
He's
but
like a
so
supervillain.
perfect. It's like, of course he's a fucking doctor. Why wouldn't he be a doctor? And why isn't his name Mandible? It's the most obvious thing in the world.
Yeah, a doctor with a gambling problem.
Yeah. But hey, you know what? It worked out for him because that's how he ends up getting the passenger,
Yeah.
the namesake of the episode. And she's going to be the one to show him where the Mandalorians are.
Yeah.
So that's a great little introduction to her.
I feel like we got a little more insight into Pelimato this episode because she is just completely bonkers. Like she's
Oh, yeah.
out of her mind. I don't ever recall her mentioning she wanted. Like at no point was there any communication between Din and Peli saying, "I'm going to slay a crate dragon" or "I want to slay a crate dragon." And yet the first things that she says is, "I hope you got some of that crate dragon meat."
Yeah.
I'm like, how the fuck did you know? What?
Yeah.
Was it announced on the HoloNet? Like, how are you
She could
hearing
fucking
about this?
smell it. That's what it was. She could smell it.
It was beautiful smell.
I would imagine carrying around a giant hunk of meat through the desert while you're walking for a while. It's going to produce a little bit of an odor. Yeah, I mean, and she talks about maggots, so
that's a good point.
It's probably very pungent.
Yeah. So aside from her telekinesis, apparently, or her telepathy, she loves medium rare. She's not a Rhodian. Apparently, Rhodians like it well done or something, or rare.
That would make sense.
Can't tell which. And then she's just such a strange, wonderful character. Like she immediately sells the idea that, whatever is floating in my head, I've been thinking about and knowing for years. She's like, yeah, I trust this passenger completely. You'll have no
Right.
problems. He's like, well, when did you meet her? I just barely met her. But
I met her like 10 minutes ago, but I trust her with my life.
Like, what is going on with this lady? She's so crazy. I dig her.
Well, and it's funny too, because if you think about like the previous season, like she just nonchalantly says, "Oh, I'm obsessed with this child and I'm gonna babysit him. Yeah, go do whatever the fuck you want. He's mine now."
You know what? I almost
Of course
forgot.
she's crazy.
I'm throwing up some images as we're talking.
Oh, hey, there we go. That's a great idea.
It'll take just a second to get them up, but they'll be up. Yeah, so she's saying that there's one hang up. You can't go light speed. Which, if you're traveling the galaxy, is an insane request. But apparently it's because these eggs can't survive light speed travel. They're too delicate or something.
Which that just kind of doesn't make any sense. It's like you have inertial compensators to make it so that your bones don't just turn into jelly in your body. But, whatever. Each species their own, I guess.
Yeah. And the trick is that she doesn't have the passenger doesn't have the information. We'll call her Frog Lady because that's how she's credited. Frog Lady doesn't know shit about shit, but her husband, Frog Man, does. Frog Man is on what is the name of the place? It's the
Trask.
Yes, but there was like a name for it. It was like the forest or the fourth moon or something. The estuary moon of Trask.
There we go.
I don't know why. I like it when people have like special titles for different places and stuff, so I try to grab those. So he has to travel sublight speed to estuary moon of Trask, and she's got this container of eggs, which apparently looks delicious to the child.
I mean, I was on board. They look like gummy bears.
I want to eat one of those. So do you think they're unfertilized and she has to get them? Because this is the last of her brood. Like once these are gone, her species dies out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why it was such a big deal that she found her husband. Because, I mean, really, if they're fertilized, what the fuck does she need her husband for?
It's true.
I mean, companionship, sure, but she can find that elsewhere.
It's true. Yeah. So they've got to be unfertilized. So then I have less of a problem with the child eating unfertilized eggs.
Yeah.
Because it's not really a sentient being yet.
Exactly. As far as I'm concerned, until that fucker hatches and maybe give it a couple of years to where it starts wiping its own ass, it's not sentient until then.
Yeah.
So I mean, children, I'm all for, post-birth abortion. It's just fine. Until they start taking care of themselves, they're not a real being.
Right, right. I mean, essentially, she's carrying around her period.
She totally is.
Which is fucked up, but true.
I mean, women do that.
It's a thing in nature. Huh. Okay. Weird. but real. So they they're he crashes because of course he's got a long sublight speed travel to go through to get to the estuary moon of Trask, and so he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna go crash, catch some shut eyes. We'll be alerted as soon as we enter the area. He goes down there and sees that the child did in fact eat one of the eggs. He's like,
Yeah.
no, wraps it up, puts the child away, and they crash for a little bit. And then immediately we hear these alarms, and it's the New Republic.
Mhm.
2 X-Wings that we've seen before. It's both Trapper Wolf and Captain Carson Teva.
Hell yeah.
Tava, Teva. And they hail him. They're like, hey,
Like, just a quick side note. I
Yeah.
want to see their spin-off.
yeah.
I think that would be fucking awesome. It could just be like some stupid buddy comedy.
Yes.
Oh, God,
buddy
I'd
cop
love it.
Comedy. That'd be great. Because that is how this is set up, right? I mean, the New Republic supposedly is in control of the Outer Realm, or
Mhm.
Outer Realm?
Outer Rim.
Outer Rim, thank you. In control of the Outer Rim, but it's like 2 guys who are
Mhm.
just patrolling this area of space. I mean, they both, they have what's the name of the satellite Adelphi post. They have an outpost that they could go to, Adelphi, but they're just assigned to this sector of space. So that's not really in control when you look at what's been going on. They're kind of just, hoping everything works out. But I do find it interesting that as this will end up being resolved at the end, they realize if his transponder was working, they wouldn't have chased him at all, and it wouldn't have been an issue, and none of this would have ever happened. This is all because his concern over not sending out a transponder on the fear of he's going to be abducted, or put into jail, which
Mhm.
technically he should, because he did break the New Republic law. But then
I mean,
you're in the Outer Rim.
it's semantics.
Yeah. So anyway, they tell him, look, you need to send us a ping so we can determine that you're not an Imperial. And as soon as they send the ping, they realize, oh shit, this is the Razor Crest from that prison job that,
Yeah.
that we ended up a prisoner was rescued from it,
Mhm.
broken out of it, and then some Republic people were killed in it.
Yeah, and that fucking moment is so tense too. When they're like, "Hey, why don't you switch over to channel 2?" And then you just see the view of the wings just opening up. It's like,
The
oh
S-foils
man, he's
locking
fucked.
into attack position. So badass. And
Fuck
yeah,
yeah.
if you're him in that spot, if you're Din Djarin, you're just like stomach dropping. You're like, ah, shit. Shit. And so he races down to the closest planetary body, which is this ice planet. And they do some crazy aerial flying and stuff as he's trying to evade them. I loved these space flights.
Oh yeah.
God, they're so good. The chase scenes, fucking badass. He ends up like sort of pulling a Han Solo, it seems, where he like scrapes the bottom as he's trying to get in undercover to hide from them, using like this rock outcropping, and then the ship just crashes down a layer into the subterranean area, and it completely messes up the ship.
Yeah, it destroys that shit.
And so he's like, well, fuck, the deal's off, lady. It's very like Indiana Jones feeling. It's like, deal's off. My ship's fucked. I can't get you anywhere. And she can't communicate with him, and he can't really communicate with her. And so he's just like, fuck it. And like lays down. Again, very sort of Indiana Jones, like pulling his hat over his face just to take a nap in the middle of a jungle or something. And then she like rigs up the old droid that was going to murder the child back in the day that he still has just sort of as a hunk of junk in the Razor Crest bay. He immediately freaks out thinking it's actually the droid, but it ends up being her just taking over the voice transponder to communicate with him, like trying to guilt him, like, look, this is the end of my brood. You need to, follow your code. I thought Mandalorians had an honor code that you were going to follow, right? Like, is this just children's stories? Are you an asshole? Help me out. Help me, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope. And so he's like, oh, fuck. Okay, fine. And so he starts putting his ship back together. And this is when Frog Lady just makes this crazy decision to go for a walk.
Yeah. It's like, you know what? I smell something in the distance. I'm going to go check it out, because why the fuck not?
You're on an alien planet. You don't know anything about the life here, if there is life, and you're just going to go wandering off? You just got out of a space, like, chase. Apparently,
Uh,
like, there's no reason why they wouldn't think that they're still out there looking for them. So
mhm.
why would you? Okay, so anyway, she finds a sauna. Surrounded by these weird egg things, but let's not get into that yet. She's just like, this looks like a good place to let my children warm up. Again,
Mhm.
unfertilized eggs, presumably. And she's just got to keep them warm? Okay, I
That makes
guess.
sense.
Why doesn't that container have some sort of thermal field on it or something, to like a heater?
You know what? It might. I mean, there's buttons and there's lights on it,
That's
so we
true.
don't know.
That's true. So anyway, it's a better look having all these little her period floating in the pond with her in the hot spring. It's so funny when
Yeah.
Mandalorian goes with the child to go find where the hell she went. Sees her just sort of relaxing, like it's having a spa day. You know, you want that after a chase. And
Of course.
he's like chiding her and like putting the eggs back in the container. And the child is like reaching for one. He's like, no, no. I don't know why that little finger wiggle was so hilarious to me watching it, but it was great. I was just
Yeah.
like,
It's because we've all done that before.
so,
Like we can relate to that shit.
yeah. So what does that child do next?
Goes for a different fucking egg. Oh my god. And that's where it goes from fucking hilarious to oh shit, something's going down.
Yeah, the tone shifted 180
Yeah.
real fast.
Yeah.
Like at first it was just disgust. Why? Because she was like, the child like pulled that spider out and just like bit into it and then swallowed it and then kept going in for the goo. I guess the
Mhm.
goo was good. It was like a callback to when the why can't I think of the goddamn name? The Jawas were eating that egg, just dipping their hand in the yolk. That big old horny egg. Pretty gross. Okay, that being
Hey,
said.
I'm back.
Oh, you were gone? I didn't even know. I was just
Maybe.
talking. Yeah, you're gone. You're here. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Testes. You're here. I got you. Don't pick your nose because we can see you. All right, well, apparently he can't hear me. I can see you and hear you. Okay, so I'll continue. So as soon as the child eats that one spider, the other pods start opening very alien-like, and the spiders start crawling out. And as the child is like running up to Din, and we see all the small little aliens coming after him, we start seeing bigger ones and bigger ones coming out of the cave depths. And then this gigantic, monstrous one. Okay, he'll be right back. This big monstrous mother, like that's showing right now on the screen, comes crawling out, and it's just like pure horror chase run back to the Razor Crest.
Yay, Skype.
Yay, you're back.
I have no idea what just happened there.
I don't know. I was just explaining what was going on with the spiders, and so they're on a hightail chase back to the Razor Crest to evade these monstrous ice spider creatures.
That shit was so intense.
Yeah, and like seeing them run through the caverns and stuff, it felt very Hoth, Planet Hoth,
Mhm.
but in like a good way. Like if Empire Strikes Back included that Wampa scene, was it Wampa?
Mhm.
Where it was like the snow creatures were gonna come
Yeah.
invade in the original script, the rebels' hideout. That would have been akin to this, which would have been awesome.
Oh, definitely.
I would really like to see that sort of animated. That'd be badass. But anyway, so they get to the ship, but these creatures are still flooding, swarming them, no matter what they do.
Yeah.
And so they're, kind of going to their last hideout, which is the cockpit, and he's using every trick he's got weapon-wise. But these things are they got the numbers,
Mhm.
Din's got the guns, but these spiders got the numbers, and there's nothing you can do in that situation. And so they finally get locked into the Razor Crest, and then Din starts seeing these spiders being shot off by some external entity. Now, at this point, I had no idea it was going to be the rebel guys. Did you think that it was going to be them?
Mhm.
The New Republic?
Yeah, I as soon as it started happening, it's like, oh, of course they're gonna come back. Why wouldn't they?
Oh. I really thought it was going to be like some weird hermit guy or something and
Oh,
take us in some weird adventure, but it ended up being the New Republic, and Captain Carson and Trapper Wolf just picking those spiders off one at a time as Din comes crawling out, and he's like, "Are you here to arrest me?" They're like, "We should have, because that your ship was
yeah.
involved in the breaking out of this prisoner, but then the guard told us that you helped, so I guess we'll just let you go." Which is weird because they went through all the hassle, and then he's like, "Look, next time, how about you just fix your transponder so we don't shoot you out of the sky?" And Din's like, "Hey, I'm gonna press my luck. How about you help me fix the ship too?" And they're like, "Fuck
Yeah.
off." They just left, which is great.
Oh, that shit was so good.
So the ship's completely fucked up. They have to pressurize the cabin, and that's the only place in the ship that they can even be in. So they have to, you got to pee beforehand because we're still going sublight speed. And
Yeah.
you see him like completely busted up coming off of the planet, which was so funny. And that was the end of the episode.
It was a great way to end it.
Yeah. It's just so crazy seeing it all busted up like that.
Mhm. Well, and like how it still works in space. Like,
Hmm.
I mean, it makes sense because really, if you think about it, it doesn't take much to maneuver a ship through space. But
Right.
still, it's like, how does it not just fucking?
Right. Yeah. The Razor Crest has been through some shit.
Yeah, fuck
Like
yeah.
it was dismantled entirely almost by the Jawas in season 1,
Hmm.
like episode 2, I think, and
Hmm.
then put back together, and now it's like completely busted up. Like how he's ever going to get it put together again is beyond me. At this point in the series,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. But okay, so what are your
Hmm.
favorite moments of this episode?
I mean, it's pretty obvious, but definitely like the first initial, like as the child's eating the one egg,
Oh god,
and you just start to see everything open up. Like,
yeah,
God, that shit was just like that's immediately when it goes from funny to oh man, shit's getting real. I love that. Love that shit.
yeah, yeah. That chase scene, it was it was so well done too, because I think it would be easy to kind of flub the tension with
Mhm.
the absurdity of Frog Lady, hopping like a frog. But I kind of thought it was cool, and
Yeah, no, it didn't feel funny at all. Like that's what you would fucking do.
yeah, like everyone was just panicked. No, even Din didn't seem like he was in control. He was like,
Mhm.
"Oh shit, what is
Yeah.
happening?" Which I love that. I love that he's just not this superhero character that can defeat all odds. That
Mhm.
he can be knocked down from time to time. We saw it in season 1 a few times. We're seeing it in season 2 now. Um,
Mhm.
that endears me to him as a character when you see
Yeah,
these
absolutely.
flaws. And this is coming off the back of him like beating the shit out of a crate dragon. So
Right.
I mean, it's nice to see that he has these wildly heroic moments, but a swarm of spiders is gonna fuck him up.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, it was
There was only
awesome.
one great dragon.
Hmm. That's true. Can you imagine a swarm of crate dragons?
Oh
Just
my
like,
god.
blah.
I mean, at least you die pretty quick, so that's
Yeah, that's
something.
true. You wouldn't be
With
tormented.
this, I don't imagine you die quick with this, especially given that you have Beskar.
Hmm.
Like, I think that would be a very miserable way to die.
They'd be trying to suck through the Beskar, like suck the
Mhm.
marrow and the tendons out of your flesh.
Yeah, it would
Ugh.
suck.
And I only imagine those things like burrow in the brain. Like there was one point when they got into the cockpit where the child had a small one on the top of its head, and it was like
Mhm.
ah, like freaking out, like anyone would. Get it off! Get it off! Get it off!
Yeah.
Because his arms are too small. He can't reach the top of his damn head. He's got
Mhm.
little tiny Yoda arms. So it was just, the frog lady shot it off. But I was like, is that gonna like burrow into the child's head? Are we gonna watch the child die?
Yeah, that would have been a hell of a way to do it.
Yeah, how up in arms would everyone be at that point? Like people freaked when they were punching Baby Yoda in the satchel at the end of season 1. If they would have killed off the child, holy shit!
Oh,
People would.
there would have been riots in the streets.
Yeah, fuck the election. This is what people really care about.
uh, you know what? I can't argue
I
that.
know, it's crazy. How you doing, man? Thanks for joining us, man. Yeah, those things chasing him into the ship was awesome.
Mhm.
So, my favorite part has to be just that panic. The way that it was filmed was genuinely horror, and I
Mhm.
loved every second of that panic. I could have lived in that moment longer. Like just having them in the cockpit when that big one was like climbing on top trying to break in with his teeth. And I'm just like, what are you gonna do now? Like, you're so screwed.
Oh yeah. Well, and especially because like that's the moment of despair when he's starting to take off. Like they're gonna get the fuck out of there, and then nope, just kidding, whack.
So good. Oh man. All right, what was your least favorite part of this?
Even though it really didn't hinder the story anything, like the whole frog lady hitting the spa, like
Yeah.
you're in mortal danger, and it's very fucking important that you get to your husband so he can knock your shit up. Why would you just be like, I'm on some strange planet, it's fucking icy, oh hey, there's hot water, I'm gonna go sit in it? You don't know what the pH is, you don't know if there's any microbes in there that are gonna destroy you and your family. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And it could have been resolved with like a one-liner, like, you know, the heating element in the tube was on the fritz, and so she had to find somewhere to, you know, let the eggs incubate or something. Like there could have been like a throwaway line to explain, oh well, she needs to go, and so they could have gone together and ended up the exact same place doing the exact same thing. But to have her wander off is just pure stupid, especially it's right after she says, this is the last of my brood and my species will be extinct if they don't survive. Then why are you leaving?
Right?
It made no sense. Yeah, that was my least favorite part too. It was nonsensical. So crazy. But maybe Dr. Mandible could help.
Probably could have. Like, that motherfucker, we need a show about him. Because he's got to have a story.
Oh, he definitely has stories. I bet he has like a harem of Mandible women.
Okay. What about this? Buddy comedy, like a adventure cop show.
Yeah.
Dr. Aphra and Dr. Mandible.
Yes.
I would watch that.
In space.
Fuck yeah. And that would be the title. I'm sold. I'm going to sell my house to give them all the money.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
I would love to see that. That'd be so great. I just want to see Dr. Aphra animated or live action.
Yeah, definitely.
That would be badass. All right. So after watching this, what do you think? Do you think they're going to make it to Trask? Do you think, everything's going to be okay? I mean,
oh, of course. I mean, they made it through that shit, and the Razor Crest got into space, so they're going to make it. Of course, they have to make it. Yeah. And it's just, you wonder, fuck, are we actually going to get to see some Mandalorians, or is it going to be another Cobb Vanth, scenario where it's somebody that has the armor but isn't? So yeah, I was definitely excited for the next episode to see where it went.
Yeah, I was really thinking they were going to get to Trask, they were going to reunite with the Frogman, and he was going to be like, oh, I saw a Mandalorian once on an X planet, and then he would have to go travel and stuff like that. So I assumed it would just be like a jumping off point, but I thought if this was considered the filler, then the next one has to be an inciting episode. It has to be something big. I just didn't think it would go where it went. So let's get into that. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode review, both live in chat or after the fact. We invite you to subscribe to this channel and click the bell to get notified about our next video. We also have a store for all your scruffy looking product needs. Links in the description below. And until the Infernal Brotherhood convenes again, may the Force be with you.
I'm not a taxi service.
Especially for those spiders.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I think if you would know that, probably, like I would.
What's up, Princess Mimi? Princess Mimi.